Yeah, well, I've called my new website the ChinaChallenge.com. I've also got .org locked away, so I'm filling those over the holidays and into January. Hope to have that up by February 1. I am being ably supported by some very cool, much smarter than me on the cyber front and all that sort of stuff. But I thought it was a would be a handy thing to dump all my stuff in a one-stop shop so people could see what I'm about. And when you think about it, Steve, I think it's part of our thing on Team Freedom, right? That we need to get our act together, get our ducks lined up, and talk about this stuff. We need to talk about the China Challenge. And I just happen to, have a personal history. Where I was, first went to China nearly 40 years ago. I was still 21, so that's been a big part of my personal story. And, I met a guy the other day who's potentially going to be a new China correspondent with no China background. I'm thinking, oh boy, you got to start from scratch. So you benefit from anything from a long period of experience with your hands on the tools, right? In the trenches of commerce. That's where you get understanding and insight from. So, and the other point I'd make is the Team Red, the other guys, they are upping it big time in terms of their propaganda, right? They've got a whole bunch of jaded expats that go that do their batting for Beijing. The Jackson Hinkles of this world. Socialism's cool. Here's a shiny picture of China. Socialism works. Here's a picture of a poor neighborhood in America. Capitalism sucks, right? There's all that sort of stuff. And it's with the varying degrees of sophistication. And, a lot of it's pretty ineffective. But back to my point earlier about the unpainted canvas of the young mind, if that's all they're exposed to is your world and your worldview is forming, then they're painting onto a vacuum, right? And so I think it's really, really, really important, 3 times for emphasis, that there's an alternative to that Team Freedom has a voice. And so, it's no surprise to those that know me that I love talking about this stuff. But yeah, I certainly want to do more of it. And I think it's really important that to get the word out and also to bring my Chinese friends along for the ride. I got so many Chinese friends that are fantastic people back in China and overseas that are not the property of the CCP, and they like freedom and human rights and dignity just as much as we all do. That's why they're universal. So yeah, I'm 26 is going to be an interesting year. Bring it on.